तद्रुद्राय प्रचेतसे विदुष्णमाय कव्यसे घोषे मशन्द्रमदं मृदे सर्वोदेश रुद्रस्तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महासेनाय धीमहि तन्नः षण्मुखः प्रचोदयात् वेदान्तार्थस्वरूपाय वेदान्तार्थविदायिने वेदान्तार्थविदे नित्यं विद्याय नमो नमः नमो गुहाय भूतानां गुहासुनिकाय च गुह्याय गुह्यते
What you are, you always are. If you would cease to misidentify yourself as a body or as an individual ego entity, you would find that you always are of the nature of being, consciousness, bliss, beginningless and endless. None of the modes of the mind are you. And the contents of a state of mind cannot be you. Cease to regard any of the content of the waking, dreaming, or deep dreamless sleep states as pertaining to you. Waking, you do not wake. Dreaming, you do not dream. Sleeping, you do not sleep. You remain the unchanging, the immutable self-luminous consciousness. That consciousness, which is existence itself, is immeasurable, fathomless, not to be defined in delusion as anything perceptible or conceivable. The senses cannot grasp it. You are not a sensed object. You are not a sensing entity. What are you then? Indivisible, eternal, illimitable. You are not the assumed, embodied individual. What the self is only Brahman. For which there is no other, no second. Happiness is innate. It is not to be found in objects. An object cannot give you happiness. It cannot give you what is yours. Happiness does not come to you. You are the happiness. And the happiness that is innate is no more an occurrence than your existence is. Your existence is not an occurrence. It's not something that happens to you. Where there is existence, that is your being, there is your happiness. But if you superimpose what is not the self, what is only illusory and objective, then the happiness will seem to elude you. If you inquire and discern what your true nature is, bodiless, egoless, mind transcendent, then yours is blissful immortality. For existence never ceases to be. Existence always exists. And non-existence does not exist at all. Existence, just as it is knowledge. The real nature of knowledge is consciousness. There never was a time when you were not. There never will be a time when you cease to be. What is this unalterable, unchanging existence? It is what you truly are. And any other definition of yourself is sheer ignorance. If we inquire for whom the ignorance is, the ignorance ceases. And the self-existent, ever-existent reality, which is the self, shines forth for itself, by itself. Being consciousness bliss is one thing. It is actually partless and does not have phases or conditions. It does not have states, modes of mind, and such. You are bodiless. You never appear and you never disappear. What you always are. And in this is found liberation from all of the imagined bondage. Being a bound individual is only a concept in the mind. Bondage is only ignorance. Ignorance is simply misidentifying yourself with what you are not. The misidentifications are rootless. They are not established. By self-knowledge, you can abide free of them. Brahman undergoes no modification at any time. It always is just as it is. The self always is just what it is, for the self is Brahman and not another. Inquire, who am I within yourself? and you will remain absorbed in fathomless peace. If this is realized, you are what is realized. You yourself are the realization. If you think you have not realized this, find out who the unrealized one is. Then it will be clearly discerned there is no unrealized one. There is no bondage and no one in bondage. There is no one striving to be free. Nor is there a liberated one. There is just the unvarying, undifferentiated self.
So there's no individual then what's the struggle? If there appears to be a struggle, what is that?
A struggle between what and what?
Ignorance, bondage, and seeing clearly.
Where is the struggle in seeing clearly?
The world and its scenarios seem real.
Who knows the world? Does the world declare its existence, or do you say it is?
So the ignorance is creating the struggle for itself.
All right. Ignorance seems to create itself, but how can that actually be? Ignorance did not have a beginning. Realizing this is its end. You make no struggle to exist. Even now you know that you exist.
And preferences and aversions? What are these?
What do you prefer?
Harmony, enjoyment.
Harmony and joy are in the self. You also know yourself. The knowledge is the abidance, and there's no struggle in it. Yet all effort should be applied, for it's one who strives that realizes.
Thank you.
Master, I would just have a short question about the wonder of changelessness. In various scriptures, the point is made that you could not know or seem to know separate objects, passage of time, expanse of space, or any other sense or mental experience. You couldn't have that unless there was something changeless in which you superimpose them so that everything could sort of be sorted out in a consistent way. If there wasn't a changeless something, none of those phenomena would hold together to substitute for that.
Yes, everything changes, gross or subtle. The changeful rests on some substrate. that is changeless. What is changeless exists. What is changeful is unreal. What is unreal does not actually exist. The existence that is the self, immeasurable, boundaryless, is all this. This is not really this. It is only the self. The changeless existence is universal.
I might just add another example, which also seems interesting, which is to look at memory. Again, in memory, there's a consistency of holding together, even though it's illusory, but holding together imagined entities, including one's body, which sort of contradicts any identification with the body as a self, because it's just on the same status as all those other mental entities. But again, what refers back from memory, again, is the consciousness which has to be so changeless to be the consistent background, even for illusion.
Yes, it's the consistent background even for illusion. How can you remember the self? It is not a thought form. Without thought, where is memory? Without memory, you lose time. Not being a body, you have no location. The locationless, the timeless, is you. Memory and time can vanish. The real self never comes or goes. You cannot remember it, and you cannot forget it.
I have a practice question. When I listen and reflect and meditate, the question I have is about reflection and how to do that the most effective way. So my primary meditation aid is to listen to spiritual recordings from here. And often when I first, especially like with a satsang, you may make a statement to begin with it. You are infinite and eternal. So I try to hear that, and don't listen to a memory, like, oh, I know what that means. Because that's not what you mean. You're not referring to something that comes out of my memory. So then, if my experience doesn't match or is not the same as what's being imparted, then I try to reflect on, well, what's different? What's off here? Sometimes it's not real obvious, so I actually stop the recording and stay with it for a little while. And then I can, even though it doesn't necessarily be clearly, oh, I'm misidentified as the body or as an individual, but something just sort of clears up when I start turning inward. And then I'll usually start the recording again, and then as you impart more, it's like I sort of get in line with what's being imparted. There's not a difference anymore. And so it's kind of a combination of reflecting, but also inquiring at the same time. They sort of happen together when I do that.
That's right. You listen to the teaching, the instruction. The instruction contradicts all delusion. And reveals what your real nature is. The instruction may be expressed verbally or may be silent. When the significance of it strikes home within, then you can be said to have listened. Listening, you should also reflect. What does this mean? If this is so, what does it signify? You should contemplate what you've been instructed in. Don't let it slip away and be buried in the superficial concepts of the mind. Don't lose track of it due to worldliness. But reflect on it. Think it over really deeply. You're not going to stop with thought. Rather, you'll destroy thought. So if you're instructed that you are not the body, know this. then what does that mean should be your reflection? How this is so? How you are really without a body, without a form? And what does that say about action, mortality, and so forth and so on? Nor should you stop with reflection. Either following reflection or all this going on simultaneously. You should deeply, profoundly meditate. When meditation reaches beyond thought, then it becomes continuous. Such meditation is absorption of your very sense of identity, of what you feel you are. Thus you hear the truth, you reflect on it, and don't lose it in the flurry of thought. And deeply, continuously meditate on it. Such an approach results in conviction. Such conviction being the certainty of one's own self. Becomes knowledge. Knowledge is one with being. They are the same. This is how effort should be applied. Shravana Manana Nidhyasana. Listen, reflect, deeply meditate, and remain absorbed in yourself. When you question the objective, which has been mistaken for yourself or for reality, when you question that and uproot that and abide in the self, such is self-inquiry. Inquiry is eyeless. Without the supposition of I, without that assumption, what are you?
Namaste. That was such a beautiful exposition of self-inquiry. I have been reading Satdarshanam, and each and every single verse is just on inquiry. Bhagwan has given us such a beautiful tool that it's just inquire, who is it that is that individual, right from the first verse to the last verse, every single verse, and you've described it in every retreat. But this was really so beautiful. That the second verse that states that the arabhyate jiva jagat paratma, with the jiva jagat, three tatvabhidhanena matam samastam idam trayam yavadaham atisyad. Without, it's all because of that I that you think this is it. But the best is to be without that I, and that is that nishtha, atmanishta.
That which is without I is undoubtedly the best. And satisfies all. Even if one realizes the significance, the meaning of a single verse of Sri Bhagavan, that'll suffice.
Thank you.
Namaste Bhagwan. Can you please tell the difference between when self-inquiry is made and ego has subsided into the source, the heart? How is there is only pure presence there, right? So how is that presence different from total destruction of ego, like final self-realization that Bhagwan calls? So is it just that the ego doesn't rise again and again, or is it the same thing?
You realize it never began. It doesn't rise again because it did not rise to start with. The sense of identity is no longer entangled in that.
But even in self-inquiry, when ego has subsided, there is still there's still a triad, right? Triad in a sense like knowledge of presence. So how does it feel when even that knowledge has ceased? Is it like a deep sleep state where presence is there and the presence is not aware of?
What is meant by presence?
Just awareness. Awareness, and there is no thought. Conscious of its presence. That's it.
Where is the room for ego in it?
Okay, so if that is the self, then why in Yoga Vasishta when he advises Rama, he says self-realization takes you to an untellable reality. Now what does this untellable reality even mean? When if it is so near, and if it is like just awareness and everyone is aware of that, and self-inquiry takes very easily into that state. What does untellable? Even all Shastras, when they are asked to describe self, they say it's not describable. Only by negation you can do. Same thing in Viveka Chudamani or like anything, right? Like if it is so simple, why is that negation has to be used to describe something, like felt? Just presence, like how, because the conviction that you are telling, like, is the experience as well. But
the conviction is knowledge, not a thought form. That which is not a form of thought is quite evidently beyond speech. It is indescribable, as well as inconceivable. The idea of presence will come and go. You do not come and go. Presence should be somewhere. But there is no somewhere in the reality. Self-inquiry is for the revelation of reality as it is. What is untellable, indescribable, that is your very being. It is the solitary reality. There is no duality in that. You should inquire so that duality vanishes and does not recur. The primal duality is the idea of I, as if it were contrasted with the true self. The inquiry reveals the eyelessness of that. Where I is not, there you are. Neither present nor absent. Ungraspable. Vanish.
Bhagavan, why do you say not present or present?
There is the idea, there is. You feel it. There is no notion of there is in the knowledge of reality. It's unutterable. Hence Sri Bhagavan's silence.
Like how clearly you're saying its existence and presence. The scriptures could have just told the same thing, right? Like even Adi Shankara in Nirvana Shatakam says, Shivoham, Shivoham. So even Shivoham is an idea. And like what does he say when he means Shivoham? And it's so like, existence, and they could have clearly told when the I goes away, existence alone remains, and that's what it is. Right? Like why do they have to make it so complicated?
There's no complication in the real self. And the knowledge of reality taught by Adi Shankaracharya and others is not complicated. It is thought transcendent, so it is supremely simple. It is the revelation of that which alone is. Shivoham. What does it mean? Do not stop with the words. Go to their significance. Do not stop with the thought of that, but existence should know itself. The individuality of the inquirer vanishes because it's unreal. It never truly was. This is not complicated.
And thank you, Bhagavan.
Be at a loss for words. You are the self, remain as the self. Abandon imagination.
From the Ashtavakra Gita. Krutva murti parijnanam chaitanyasya na kim guruhu nirveda samata yuktya yastarayati samsrutehe.
He who gains knowledge of the true nature of pure consciousness by complete indifference to the world, by equanimity and by reasoning, and saves himself from the round of birth and rebirth, is he not really the spiritual guide?
Pashya bhuta vikaramstvam bhutamatran yadharthataha takshanad bandha nirmuktaha swarupastho bhavishyasi.
Look upon the modifications of the elements as nothing in reality but the primary elements themselves, and you will at once be free from bondage and abide in your true self.
Vasana eva samsara iti sarva vimunchataha tatyago vasana tyagad stitiradhya yata tadha.
Desires alone are the world. Do you, therefore, renounce them all. The renunciation of desire is the renunciation of the world. Now you may live anywhere.
Ashtavakra uvacha vihaya vairinam kamam artham chanartha sankulam dharmam apyetayor hetum sarvatra nadaram kuru.
Ashtavakra said, cultivate indifference to everything, having given up kama, desire, which is the enemy, artha, worldly prosperity, which is attended with mischief, and dharma, performance of good works, which is the cause of these two.
Swapnendra jalavat pashya dinani trini panchava mitra kshetra ghanadara daradayadi sampadaha.
Look upon friends, lands, wealth, houses, wives, presents, and such marks of good fortune as a dream or a juggler's show, lasting only a few days.
Yatra yatra bhavet trishna samsaram vidhi tatra vai praudha vairagyam ashritya veta trishna sukhi bhava.
Know that wherever there is desire, there is the world. Betaking yourself to firm non-attachment, go beyond desire and be happy.
Trishna matratmago bandhaha tannasho moksha uchyate bhava samsakti matrena prapti tushtur muhurmuhu.
Bondage consists only in desire, and the destruction of desire is said to be liberation. Only by non-attachment to the world does one attain the constant joy of the realization of the self.
Tvamekaschetana shuddho jadam vishvam asattadha avidyapina kinchitsa ka bubhutsa tadhapite.
You are one pure intelligence. The universe is non-intelligent and unreal. Ignorance also is no real entity. What can you yet desire to know?
Rajyam sutta kalatrani sharirani sukhani cha samsaktasyapi nashtani tava janmani janmani.
Kingdoms, sons, wives, bodies and pleasures have been lost to you birth after birth, even though you are attached to them.
Alamarthena kamena sukritena pi karmana ebhyas samsara kantare na vishrantam abhonmanah.
Enough of prosperity, desires, and pious deeds. The mind did not find repose in these in the dreary forest of the world.
Kritam nakati janmani kayena manasa gira dukkhamaya sadam karma tadyadapyuparamyatam.
For how many births have you not done hard and painful work with the body, with the mind, and with speech? Therefore, cease, at least today.
தேவதைகள் முனிவரர்கள் யோகிகர்க்கும் தெரிய மிக அரிதான நிர்ணயத்தை பாவனமாம் பரமசிவன் நமக்குரைத்த பரிசாக நிதகனின குறைத்தோமன்றே. ஆவதனால் அகண்ட பர நிச்சயத்தை அனவரதம் ஆதரவாய் அபியாசித்தே கேவலமாம் பரபிரம்ம ஸ்வரூபமாகி கிளேஷமிலா ஆனந்தம் பொருந்தி வாழ்வாய். சர்வ ஜகநாயகனாய் நிறைந்த ஈசன் சகலவித ஜீவர்க்கும் இதமேயாக நிர்மலமாம் கைலாசகிரியில் முன்னம் நிகரற்ற கருணையினால் உபதேசித்த பரிசதுவாய் பரபிரம்ம ஞானம் தன்னை பயமறவே நிதகனினக்கு உபதேசித்தோம். திரிவிதமாம் உலகத்தும் இந்த ஞானம் தெரிய மிக அரிதெனவே தெரிந்து கொள்வாய். தெரிவுறவே முன்னொரு கால் தேவருக்கு தென் திசையில் எதிர்முகமாய் திகழும் ஈசன் ஒரு 10,000 வருஷம் மட்டும் இந்த உத்தமமாம் ஞானத்தை உபதேசித்தான். அருள்வடிவாய் எழுந்தருளும் அம்பிகைக்கு அகில ஜெகநாயகனாம் சாக்ஷாத் ஈசன் ഉറമുറവേ ഒരു വർഷ പര്യന്തത്ത് ഉത്തമമാം ജ്ഞാനമിதை ഉപദേശിത്താൻ. വിരിവുറവേ വിനായകനും തൻ ശീടക്ക് வெகுவருஷம் இதனை உபதேசம் செய்தான். பரிவுடனே அறியும் இதை விரிஞ்சனுக்கு பல காலம் பால்கடலில் உபதேசித்தான். ஒரு பொழுதன் தந்தைக்கு பிரம்மலோகத்து ஊனமிலா ஞானமிதை உரைத்தேன் யானும். இருளறவே முன்பொருகால் நாரதாதி ரிஷிகளுக்கு இதை விரிவாய் இசைத்தேன் நானே. இத்திரமாம் பரபிரம்ம ஞானம் தன்னை எளிதாக தெளிவிக்கும் இந்த நூலை மெத்தவுமே குறைவன்றி விரிவும் அன்றி மிக வெளிதாய் ஈசனென குறைத்த வண்ணம் உத்தமனே கருணையினால் உன்னை முன்னிட்டு உலகிலுள்ளோர் யாவர்க்கும் இதமேயாக சத்தியமாய் அருள் செய்தேன் இந்நூலுக்கு. சரியான நூலவையும் எங்கும் இல்லை. தன்னிய இந்நூலனமற்றெந்த நூலும் தடையற்ற ஞானத்தை விரைவில் தாராது. அந்நியமா நூல்களெல்லாம் அடைவேயாக அகண்ட பர ஞானத்தை அளிப்பதாகும். பன்னியவின் நூலொன்றே சீக்கிரத்தில் பகுப்பற்ற பரபிரம்ம ஞான நல்கும். இன்னவித ஹேதுவினால் இந்நூலுக்கிங்கு இணையான நூலவையும் எங்கும் இல்லை. ஓதிய இந்நூலிலுள்ள கவிதையின் கண் உற்ற ஒரு பாதத்துக்கிணையொன்றில்லை. மீதியுள்ள பாதங்கள் கிணையேயாக மேவு பொருள் எவையேனும் எங்கும் உண்டோ. வீதலுரா அகண்ட பர ஞானம் தன்னை விளக்கீடும் வாக்குக்கிங்கிணையேதாகும். ஆதலினால் அதிசயமாம் இந்த நூலை அத்யந்த ஆதரவோடு அபியாசிப்பாய். பல கோடி யாகத்தை பாங்காய் செய்தும் பல கோடி தீர்த்தத்தில் ஸ்நானம் செய்தும் உலைவோடு பெற்ற பலன் இதனில் உள்ள ஒரு பாதம் படித்த பலத்தினையேயாக. நிலமேவும் மின்னூலின் கவியின் கண்ணே நிர்மலமாய் நிகழ்கின்ற 2 பாதம் சலியாது படித்த பலன் தனக்கீடாக சகல பூவி தான பலம் சாற்றலாமோ. அரிதான இந்நூலின் கவியின் கண்ணே அதிசயமாய் அமைவுற்ற 3 பாதம் சரியாக படித்து வரும் பலந்தனக்கு சகலவித தானமுமே சமானமாக. பரிவாக இதனிலுள்ள கவிதை ஒன்றை படித்த பலன் தனக்கிணையாயவையும் இல்லை. ஒரு காலம் மேலும் இதன் அனுபவத்தை உற்றதனால் பெரும்பேருக்குவமையுண்டோ. பத்திரமாம் இந்நூலால் பரியம் தன்னை இயல்பாக கேட்டுணர அசத்தனேனும் நித்தமுமே ஸ்ரத்தையுடன் நியமமாக நிர்மலமாம் இந்நூலை படித்த போதும் அஸ்திரமாய் படிப்போனும் அகண்ட ஞானம் அடைவாக அடைந்ததனால் முக்தனாவன். சத்தியமே ஆதலினால் அனைத்தும் தள்ளி சந்ததமும் இந்நூலை அபியாசிப்பாய். சகலவித தானமோடு தர்மம் தள்ளி சகலவித தீர்த்தமோடு ஸ்தலமும் தள்ளி நிகிலவித ஜபமுடனே தவமும் தள்ளி நிகில மகா மந்திர தந்திரமும் தள்ளி திகழும் மிகும் தேவதைகள் அனைத்தும் தள்ளி தேவதையின் பூஜனைகள் அனைத்தும் தள்ளி அகிலவித நூல்களையும் தூர தள்ளி அனவரதம் இந்நூலை அபியாசிப்பாய். சகலவித சரியைகளும் தூர தள்ளி சகலவித கிரியைகளும் தூர தள்ளி நிகிலவித யோகமுமே தூர தள்ளி நிகிலவித சாங்கியமும் தூர தள்ளி வெகுவிதமாம் பக்திகளும் தூர தள்ளி விசித்திரமாம் பாவனையும் தூர தள்ளி அகிலவித நூல்களையும் தூர தள்ளி அனவரதம் இந்நூலை அபியாசிப்பாய். வெகுவிதமாம் மதங்களையும் தூர தள்ளி விதம் விதமாம் மதிகளையும் தூர தள்ளி சகலவித ரகசியமும் தூர தள்ளி சகலருடை சேவையுமே தூர தள்ளி நிகிலவித புண்ணியமும் தூர தள்ளி நிகில மகாபாகியமும் தூர தள்ளி அகிலவித சம்சயமும் தூர தள்ளி அனவரதம் இந்நூலை அபியாசிப்பாய்.
शिवाय नमः।